This conference will now be recorded.
No.
Call the meeting to order. Stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
O Lord, as we gather this day to do important business for the people of the village of Owego, grant us wisdom, compassion, and understanding. Amen.
All right, so first item, different than usual, we got a public hearing on amending the village vehicle and traffic law to designate the intersection of Church and Main Street as a four-way stop intersection. So, who do we have here to talk about Church and Main Street? Amy? So just stand up, say who you are.
Okay. You want me to stand here? This is a new setup.
It doesn't matter, the microphone doesn't matter.
Okay.
It picks up pretty well everywhere.
Okay. Nadine Bixby, 244 Main Street, Owego. Our home is situated very near to the intersection in question on Main Street between the blocks of Church Street and Spencer Avenue. We are 4 buildings east of the Baptist Church and are very familiar with this intersection as drivers, pedestrians, and observers. The 4-way stop will slow down speeding vehicles that have taken advantage of the stop sign free zone all along Main Street. This dangerous speeding has significantly increased with the demise of the traffic signal. The elimination of several Main Street parking spots adjacent to the Church Main intersection is key to making this intersection as safe as possible for vehicles and pedestrians when you install the 4-way stop. We must be as concerned about pedestrian safety as vehicular safety. The village prides itself on being a walkable village, and we observe a steady foot traffic of individuals, couples, dog walkers, lots of dog walkers, teenage friends making their way to the skate park, elderly, handicapped, parents and caregivers with children in strollers, and older ones hanging on. People are going downtown to eat and shop, to work, to a medical appointment, an art or cooking class, exercise, get their hair done, go grocery shopping, grab a coffee, drop by the bakery, have a beer with a friend, or attend a 12-step program. Going to the courthouse for jury duty. Story Hour at the historic Coburn Library attracts many young children and their families on a regular basis. Churchgoers frequently walk to one of the 4 houses of worship, St. Paul's Episcopal, First Baptist, United Methodist, and St. Patrick's churches, all on Main Street. The First Presbyterian Union Church is only a few steps away on Church Street, from Church Street. We are a vibrant, active community. We are the county seat, and there should be no intersection that basically presents a game of Russian roulette to foot or motor travelers. This is a busy intersection, daily used by the most vulnerable pedestrians in our community. Their safety must remain forefront in the careful plan that the mayor and trustees have proposed. Pedestrian safety must be regarded as equal value to vehicle safety. So as you prepare to pass this new local law, I ask that you not give up on finding some route towards reinstalling a proper traffic light with a safe pedestrian crossing option. The end.
Thank you. That us will enter it in. All right. Who else?
I have a letter from Judy Quigley that she asked me to bring. One of you read it, me read it. All right, so I'll do this. I think everybody knows Judy. So she says, the light at the corner of Church and Main Street to the trustees of the Owego Village Board. As a lifelong resident of Owego, I've been driving through this intersection for decades. When the light broke, I noticed right away how unsafe the intersection has become. At least 3 times a week, I travel south on Church Street and cross Main Street to get to Front Street. Ever since the light is broken, I've had to creep out nearly to the middle of the intersection to see if there's any traffic coming. Even when cars are not parked nearby, it is still difficult to see if there is any oncoming traffic. The other day, I poked my nose out and thought it was clear, but had to floor it to avoid being hit by a car I could not see. A four-way stop would prevent this from being a safety issue. Recently, I traveled to San Francisco and marveled at how well the four-way stops work there. Only the various busiest intersections had traffic lights. The traffic on Main Street has been stopping for a light there for years. Why is the stop sign such a problem? Wouldn't slowing down the traffic as it approaches downtown to be a good thing? And what's the rush? Shouldn't the safety of those coming off Church Street be as important as how fast someone can get through town? I have heard some parking spots are going to be eliminated to make it easier to see. That won't solve the problem. As I said earlier, even without cars parked there, it is still necessary to creep out to get a view of oncoming traffic. And do we really need fewer parking spots in the village? Please vote to take down the light and install 4 stop signs. Thank you, Judy Quigley.
On that same theme, I have 3 other letters from people who can be here, so we'll read those at some point.
And then just personally, I'm Tim Dice, live at 383 Front Street. Just want to add to some of the conversation that particularly as you're going north and look left to try to see if there's oncoming traffic, at times when the sun is low on the horizon in the evening, it is hard to pick out cars, particularly the darker color ones, coming at you out of the sun. Been here in the village since 2008. We moved here. The stoplights were there previously. I think that would be a much more effective and safer way of controlling traffic at that intersection. Thank you.
I'm Michelle Pelton. I live at 137 Temple Street and I own a local business. So I have 2 reasons that I'm for a 4-way. Resident, as I walk into town to visit, it is unsafe to cross there just walking. The parking spaces in front of the movie theater, that's a dangerous intersection right there. I drive that intersection multiple times a day, going to and from, and not just for our residents, but for people coming into the village that are unaware of that area. If they don't know that they should creep out because it's a dangerous section, I think that's just going to cause more problems as far as bringing people into the town.
Anybody else? I can read the 3 that were sent in. So we have one from Janelle Malia. It says, Dear Village of Owego trustees, I've owned a business in the village of Owego for more than 15 years. As a resident of the town of Owego, I traveled into the village several times each day. The intersection of Church and Main Street has long been managed by a traffic light, which helped maintain safety. The decision not to retain the stoplight, I strongly believe, is necessary to install a 4-way stop. Safety at this intersection is a serious concern. Vehicles traveling west on Main Street often approach at excessive speeds. The electronic speed sign has helped reduce some of this behavior. Turning left from Church Street onto Main Street remains difficult and frequently hazardous. Visibility in both directions on Main Street is limited, and drivers are often met with fast-moving traffic, creating dangerous conditions. Traffic pattern poses a real risk of accidents. Reinstalling the traffic light or establishing a 4-way stop would significantly improve safety, help prevent collisions, and could ultimately save lives. Janelle Malcolm, owner of Black Cat. We have another letter from Ira and Margaret
Rosencrantz.
I always say that. Dear Owego Village Board, as Owego Village residents, we are writing to respectfully request the installation of a 4-way stop at the intersection of Church Street and Main Street. This intersection poses ongoing safety concerns due to poor visibility, unclear right-of-way expectations. Given its location near local businesses and residential areas, the intersection sees a high volume of both vehicle and pedestrian traffic, including children and seniors. A 4-way stop would improve safety and help prevent accidents. We urge the board to consider this important change for the well-being of the community and for the many visitors who use this intersection daily. Thank you for your attention to this matter and your continued efforts to improve our village. Another one from Jim Overheiser. To the Owego Board of Trustees, I'm a resident at 260 Main Street, Owego, and either drive or walk through the intersection at Main and Church Street on a daily basis. As the Owego Village Board of Trustees considers options for traffic control at that intersection, I will strongly campaign for a four-way stop sign solution. Four-way stop sign would create a safer intersection for both drivers and pedestrians, plus reduce the need to have an electric signal that depends on uninterrupted power. The current two-way stop situation has its dangers. One, if cars park too close to the intersection, the sight line makes it difficult to the east and west traffic. And two, cars traveling east on Main start their acceleration at the North Ave intersection and often exceed 30 miles an hour, limit the length of Main Street. The stop sign would at least offer some slowdown to the traffic and make the residential areas safer. Thank you for your consideration of this matter, Jim. Those are the three that were emailed to me before 6 o'clock when I checked my email.
Could I say something? It's for
Oh, sure.
Young.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. My whole thing is I don't care how we fix this. I really don't. The four-way stop, if that's gonna work, then do it. Because here is my great concern. I had both of my mail people, my pet mail carriers, nearly get hit there. And they came to my house after it happened so I could make them something sugary to drink. Now, I've gone to the movie theater and I've seen near accidents. I don't want to be negative, but this has been, how long has this been going on now? Almost 2 years. That's what someone said. Like, guys, we have got to get this sorted. I don't care how you do it. Do it the way that's most affordable while giving us safety. But we're going to end up with a lawsuit. But more than that, we're going to really end up with someone hurt. And I don't understand, I guess, the time that's gone by. But I trust you to make the best decision. It needs to be made as soon as possible because this problem is a daily problem. And thank you for your time.
Thanks, Laura. Anybody else on the public hearing? Okay. So shall we close the public hearing? Get any motion for that?
To close the public hearing.
A second. Laura. Close the public hearing.
Yeah.
Rob?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
John? Yes. And yes. Okay, so we have one more piece as far as discussion. We have the police chief. The police have prepared us a letter.
Lieutenant,
Right. Well, right.
read the whole thing yet.
Okay. So I guess what are your inputs?
My input is that if we put a four-way stop there, that we should somehow still keep that light on flash, but put it on a red flash in both directions, which to somebody who does lights, and so it should be a pretty easy thing to, even if our controller won't switch the other side to red that's yellow, it would be an easy, just flip the wires to the red side and you can have red on both sides. My concern is you take that light, stop it from flashing and just put red stop signs up there that the people who normally travel that road, which we put the speed trailer up there for 3 weeks, it was over 80,000 cars in that time period. You know, you wouldn't guess that usually, but there's a lot of cars. But the good news is the average speed of those 88,000 cars is 22 miles an hour. So a lot of people think people are flying through there and it's not as fast as they think. There was 15%, I think, that were speeding, which is, speeding is considered 31, so anything over 30. But I just think if you turn that yellow off and just put stop signs there, that we're gonna have a bad accident, just my opinion. If you're putting the four ways up, make them all red for a while at least, and then we can sit there and monitor traffic and give out warnings for a while. Try to curb it that way also. But we can look up New York State crash data, and I I don't have that in front of me right now, but I don't think there have been, even though there's a lot of near misses, I guess, and probably more because of the way the parking is, you can see exit Church Street, that the way it's running now on a yellow and red flash is horrible. Of course, I don't live there either. Just my input.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of accidents, but probably a lot of near misses.
I can look up the crash data for the last 5 years there. Numbers within 100 yards of that intersection.
Mr. Mayor, why don't we typically catch a flasher, we have to change it to a four-light system rather than traffic signal?
The DOT said that we should, but doesn't mean we have to.
Yeah, I'm just curious, if we do decide to go that route, would it be wise to do that? What would be that investment?
I don't know how much one of those would be, but they just said that if we're gonna leave it there long term, we probably should do that. If we're gonna leave it there for 6 months and take it down, we probably don't need to do that.
Do we have a shared service agreement with them? That's the other thing when I discussed it with them, they're like, we would probably come out and look at that light and just trade services. So the street roads, I don't know if that would be a total repair or just something.
I don't know if we do. I think it's a great question.
1954, the village of Owego took the responsibility of the state roads of cleaning and maintaining them. As that point, every time I call them about a sign, no, that's your problem. No, that's your problem. So I don't know exactly what they would do, even though we do sweep their streets.
I was told that tonight, it would be in kind, like they do that for us, they calculate the cost, we do something for them, they calculate the cost.
Right.
They would owe us
Something
a
to look
lot.
into.
It's up to you.
Mike, I just make a comment. Joe, would speed control pump help?
I think the lieutenant put that in there also, he thought maybe approaching that if you put the stop signs.
Okay.
I think you're saying if you put that on there with no other device, that it may, obviously that's gonna grab somebody's attention. Slow them down in that spot. With what I saw on the data that our speed sign does, which it does both direction traffic, even though it only lights up the going way, it still records all the vehicles. I can record speeds from time blocks, I can do, it will do a ton of stuff for data collection, for like this stuff, so that you can tell when your problem hours are, when they're not, when, the slowest vehicle, the fastest vehicle, which I won't tell you what the speed of that was. Probably the police car.
Want to know the high score.
But I don't know if that's a great solution or not, but it's definitely gonna grab people's attention and slow them down. It may cause some issues too, who knows?
Well, you need to have a sign,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like just after Lake Street.
Right.
Sign,
And
speed control about that.
Or signs.
So we plow it.
Yeah, plow it, yeah, plow
We
it.
plow it.
Yeah.
Temporary, well, I think that was in there because it would be temporary until people get used to the stop sign. Because if we're only putting, I'm telling you, if we're only putting four-way, we need some other measure. Because people will blow through the stop sign, somebody might
The traffic study for the intersection goes over the analysis for the vehicle and pedestrian volumes, crashes, and that it didn't meet the warrant for crashes to change the signal. But they outlined the procedure for all the different options we have. And it includes how we go through the process of like covering the sign, removing the sign, how long we're required to keep the old infrastructure up. And so it would be good if we looked at that before we made any changes so that we do it in the proper procedure. And
As
so
far
that,
as like removing the light.
yeah, and any of the changes that we've gone over, so they've done an analysis of the different routes that we can do with like the if we remove the sign or not, and if we put in the stop signs. And so it details those. And then also, yeah, we did receive the analysis by Rudy Parker. That was supplied to our mailboxes.
Yep, put that in the record too. Charles?
So, says the consensus is that this has been going on far too long. There's been a sign up there that says understudy. So all of that should have been done already. That's my assessment. So, I mean, it seems like everybody's in favor of the four-way sign, including the four-way flashing, red light. That's a must, I would think.
I would think for a short while.
Yeah, at least to get everybody acquainted with that. I don't know if the spacing with, the parking spaces would still be an issue to move with the four-way sign. Okay, so,
Take a local law. Rusty's put together a local law that makes a lot of tweaks to some of this stuff. It
Right.
includes removing some of the parking near that
Right.
intersection.
so that's the first step is the amending of that law, and that's included, right?
Not in this.
No.
This is just designating this as a four-way stop. One of the suggestions I would have is instead of making it effective immediately, make it effective 90 days from now, 120 days from now. So that way you can figure out how to put a four-way red flashing light up there. We can adopt a law that also removes some of the parking around that intersection. You can put a sign up that says, as of this day, this is gonna change over to a four-way stop. You can mail a notice out to everybody in the village. This is now a four-way stop as of this day, please be aware.
Instead of just tomorrow morning, it's four-way stop.
Right.
And then Joe's pulling everybody over.
So is there any kind of way to amend this or make a motion to let people know that this is the way we're choosing to go? This is what we're gonna do. Because this goes one more day or two, and it seems like we're not doing anything about it.
You adopt a motion to adopt the local law, as presented, except that you're extending the effective date to be, 90 days from now, 60 days from now. I don't know how long it's gonna take to get a four-way blinking light fixed up there. The chief's like, it's easy, just move some wires around. Like, yeah, sure. Okay, but.
Fill it done before we get out of here.
And then if you wanna, after you adopt the local law with the date effective 60, 90, 120 days from now, then have a motion to send a notice to everybody. Do a motion to put a sign up, do a motion to do whatever you think you wanna do, but, adopt the law, then decide what notice requirements what notice you wanna give everybody specifically about this.
All right, so with all those legal words you just said, I would like to make that motion together.
How many days we gonna put?
October 1st.
So to do the local law to remove the parking around that intersection, it's gonna take,
Oh, you said
it'll be probably the second meeting.
Joe's got to talk to the guy from the state that he knows and see how long it's gonna take him to do the light. And then,
60 days.
I would say at least, and then you gotta make the local law like Nate's saying for the
I would say
parking.
60 days.
You gotta have the parking before you can do the four-way. Anyway.
90 will put us beginning of December.
Yeah, Andy would make it seem like we're just
Yes. You can't
procrastinating.
Well, I am curious, like, we have to have this understudy light, we have to fill some of these applications. I mean, that's been up there for a year.
I'm not sure those are obligations,
Well,
it's just like recommendations.
recommendations.
Yeah, you want to buy yourself time to
Right.
give them traveling public notice. People pay attention to the village board meetings, they know, but 90% of your residents probably pay attention to the village board meetings.
And maybe we can hand out manuals once again to familiarize everybody with the driving laws like they're supposed to do already.
Well, we're gonna need a lot of copies of that from DMV.
So the thought is 60 days from today would be the effective date of it. That'd be November 2nd.
That,
And that gives us time to publicize it, I suppose.
good.
A second.
So this is just
To
to
adopt.
pass the law, and we'll talk about what we need to do.
Got all that, Russ?
Can you read that back?
We're going down there. This is turned to a four-way stop, starting November 2nd. Great.
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Absolutely.
Laura,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
and yes.
So
November
that
2nd.
passed the law.
That passed the law. November 2nd, four-way stops.
But I can put signs up prior.
Well, that's what, you want to make a motion to do
The stop
something?
signs. Yeah, no, you can't put the stop signs up until November 2nd. On a four-way stop here. Yeah, why can't I put them on, just cover them on?
Put them on.
Oh, well, all right, as long as they're covered.
That
That
way,
way they're in before the ground freezes.
Well,
Yeah.
something along the lines.
that way help people realize they're gonna be there.
That too.
Yeah, and then you can put a sign up, well, this is the discussion, what other notice?
We could use
Put
the
it up
mark
on
here to
the,
move.
yeah.
Use the move.
So, do we want to do any other motions as far as notifying people, like make a motion to send a letter? So that we know we have to do that.
I don't think the letters should do any good. People go through that, they don't all live in it.
You know,
Gotta put it something in the paper.
yeah, we can put it in the paper.
Not everybody.
But you can also do
Everybody can read the
Courier.
paper.
Everybody
You
reads
can do
Facebook
it- you
though.
can do it on your other thing.
We can do Facebook, we can do Code Red.
Code red. Maybe they gotta move it.
It's a bunch of people.
Would you like a motion for the paper also?
I think-
I would like to make a motion that we
Across the school.
put it that it will be a four-way stop as of November 2nd.
What was your motion?
I'll second
What was
that.
your motion?
We'll put it in the paper that it will become a four-way stop November 2nd, 2025.
What, do you want to just put in the Courier, or do you want to take an ad out in the Penny Saver?
I think we should do French.
I think we should do the Penny Saver too,
Are they one of those fancy digital signs we can put out?
November 2nd.
There's that one.
2025.
Although that's an
One
interesting,
around the corner, we can put it on that.
no, that's an interesting, can we get a, this goes back to the DOT talk, can we get one of their video boards? For
What?
Well, like they put, road's gonna be closed, construction, whatever.
And I have a front one, not two of them.
Right.
Well, you're driving all four ways, really.
Well, at least somewhere to.
Sure, I can ask.
I think coming from the
On Main Street.
Yeah.
most prevalent.
Right, we got a motion now for the papers.
Need a second.
Second.
I did.
Charles, stop stealing it.
Just moving us along.
We're gonna put a little ad in the Courier and the Penny Saver. Water,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Ryan,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Carl.
Yeah.
And we'll do Code Red. We just do that. And then we should check into the video board. Or whatever you call it. What's that, signboard signs from, like I know DOT has a bunch of.
So Fred's gonna reach out to somebody to check that red light, see if we can angle the wires.
Between Fred and Joe, we'll figure out.
Is that a not it sign, Fred?
Excuse me?
Is that a not it sign?
Yeah, I didn't even know anything about it. I guess he pulled better strings than I did.
Slip your fingers and touch the wire. it'll be fine.
There you go. You know better than I do.
EFS already knows. Okay. All right, so that's all about the traffic light. So
We have other.
now we'll go to normal public comment.
Yeah, I have a comment. I was wondering if I went down and saw the monument, the Veterans Monument. It is incredible, and I wanted to send a thank you to the company who did it. And if you could just put on the Facebook page, like the company who was responsible, because I have to say that the difference is incredible. And that was not an easy job. And I think it's something we're all so proud of. Could you do that?
Power washing, East Zero Power Washing on the Vestal Parkway.
Echo Power Wash.
Echo Power Wash.
2403 Vestal Parkway.
All right, and okay. And I think I just had one more question, and it's about something Laura spoke of, where we have that issue with the, uh, it's getting the trucks to the other side. It looks like a tunnel. Laura, do you know what I'm talking? The culvert.
That's a
Um,
sewer line.
I was wondering your thoughts. Like it said in the article I read, like we're looking at $10 million. And are you guys thinking about doing a bond, or are we looking for? I mean, it predates the highway. I don't know if the highway had any damage, anything to do with some of the damage, but I was just wondering what we were looking to do on that. And then I'm done. I'm done.
I don't think we know anything, we're just investigating. The price tag comes because to fix it, we have to shut down the highway. Which is a
Oh,
key thing to do.
okay. All right. Thank you very much.
State is more than help.
Yeah. I wish the state would help us out. Maybe.
I have one more comment, in line with what I was saying about being concerned about pedestrian safety. There is a crosswalk across Main Street at Spencer, right in front of the Methodist Church, and it's kind of been forgotten. I mean, it does have the handicap bumps on it and all, but the lines are pretty faded. And so I think that maybe, I don't think you need to make a motion or anything like that, but if you guys could maybe like kind of spruce that up a little bit and make that more.
Lines.
I don't know.
Repainting the
Crosswalk.
crosswalk.
Main and Spencer.
Yeah, but as people do cross there, especially the young parents going to the library. And it certainly is safer for pedestrians that once they kind of get used to it or realize that it's still there again than to cross at the church in Maine. Because that's a little tough. You never know when you're going across, you're not sure who's coming at you, at that point. So maybe you could, think about doing that.
Yeah. And this is the time to paint because it gets too cold and we can't.
Okay, thanks.
I'll find it.
That's a fun. Yeah, 'cause that-
And we're on normal public comment. Mike?
I'm gonna bring up something from the last meeting here. They were discussing the leasing of the vacant properties. And this is something Nate probably knows more about than I do, but the FEMA properties that they're saying you can't sell, why can't you put a deed restriction on them that they have to stay forever green and then sell them that way?
It's FEMA's rules.
Huh?
It's the FEMA rules.
FEMA
Yeah,
rules.
we asked them. We agree. Don't worry.
I think you're ridiculous to lease them out, that's all I'm gonna say.
How much are they?
Instead of price, we said price.
How much do you lease them out for?
We're investigating that. We don't know yet.
How many have already been leased out?
Zero.
There's nobody on unoccupied former houses? None of them are, there's nobody on any of it?
Shouldn't be.
Well, I think there are a few. Down on Delphine Street.
They'd be trespassing. If anybody's on those properties, they'd be trespassing.
That'd be a joking, sir.
Be a joke, sir.
That would be a joke.
Aren't you glad you came?
Yeah. Public comment, thank you. Good to see you.
Actually, I'm doing this a little early just because not sure when I'll come back again. We want to do, Company 3 wants to do the trick or treat again with the trunk and treat actually and the candy check. And I called Chief Kennedy today and left him a message. We're hoping to close the one block off from Spruce Street to the railroad tracks. Because in previous years, we've had cars come up through there and you've got kids crossing the street back and forth. And
I think we closed it last year.
I did, I closed it down last year, Chief. And
under the circumstances, and it worked extremely well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And we had a lot of parents that thanked us for not allowing tracks to come through there, because, like I said, the cars just go, they don't slow down for anything.
Oh, that's a good idea. And Halloween's Friday night this year.
We need permission for October 31st to use the building. Obviously, have public in it.
Right.
And the second event is the food and boot drive on December 13th. Normally, we would do it on the 6th, but Sister Mary called me today, and they have another event already on the 6th, so they're asking us to move the food drive, which I have no problem. I would like to throw out to the board, and anybody here, we can use trunks. And I will tell you, in the last 2 years, we've had between 90 and 100 kids come through. It's a lot of fun, and the kids have a ball. This year, we're parking the cars on the outside of the street, so we don't have to move them because a train comes through. We've never, ever had a train come through till last year. Last year, the train had to stop and tell us we had to move back. Of course, the kids loved it.
I bet.
So, but that's the other day we need the building so we can use it for the food drive.
And as a point of interest, Chief, as you know, on that one, we won't be closing the block down. We will let the cones up like normal to slow people down. Obviously, because we want the boot drive and the food delivery, but the road will not be closed for that.
Yeah, you don't need me for that.
Yeah, it's a little hard to have a boot drive in the road.
That's true.
Plus Dick promises me he's not gonna be there this year. He won't be out with a boot. He'll be there. As the oldest fireman in the area, he won't miss it.
Mr. Mayor,
Good to
that
see
we
you,
allow
Jim.
them to use company three on the two designated dates and close down that section of the road on the 31st.
Okay. Any discussion? Yeah, we should pull three. Official, but we'll get that filled in. We'll get it filled in.
It's kind of justify his income.
All right, so we're gonna vote on that. Basically, we're approving the parade.
Yes.
Terry. Charles.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
And yes. Hopefully my trunk will be there. I know last year I was doing something. It's always fun. Other public comment? Alright. So we do have an invited guest. It's not on the list today. Cemetery guys are here. Brought their whole posse.
Just about.
Yeah.
We travel in the path.
Yep. Barb Hughes is there.
You're not looking for bodies, are you?
Chairperson.
You're not looking for bodies, are you?
No.
Well, pretty soon, we're hoping.
My wife doesn't
We
come
hope
to
that,
these.
we hope that
I'm
the
sure
village will
she's
be
there.
looking for bodies.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, our whole purpose of our presentation is to reopen sales of plots in the cemetery. We've had a number of people, residents who requested it, and we do have a lot of space available. Plus, well, main reason, in addition to being in demand,
I don't know where you can see that.
beautiful.
Yeah, I see that.
Got it together. So, yeah, I did a lot of research. I checked with the New York State Division of Cemeteries, and Also, I looked at our cultural landscape report, which was done 5 years ago. One of the things that is in that report from Martha Lyons is that essentially from 1946 to the year 2000, other than mowing, there was nothing done in the cemetery. So there are a lot of things that need to be done. And it was 2019 when half of the cemetery committee left because of the fact they were frustrated that there was not any money to do projects in the cemetery that need to be done. Our annual budget covers mowing and taking care of some of the dead trees. Other than that, there is no budgeted items by the village. So the Friends of Owego Evergreen formed in 2019, and they, between membership and other sales of items and grant money that has been produced, that is how we've been able to take care of things like the guardrail and the paved lot by the chapel and all the improvements to the chapel, etc. So, yeah, it was in the year 2000, Mayor Barbara Fink, she took an interest in the cemetery. And after she left office, went back to pretty much the way it had been, status quo. She got the cemetery on the National Registry of Historic Places. And so, made a few notes for myself. Yeah, so what we have on the screen there was in 1987, the village board agreed that section, well, I'll show you on the map after, but section 15 and 9, that we could put grave plots along that, along the service road there.
It's 15, right?
Down mine for
Okay,
two yellow.
in the middle, there's the 2 yellow
There's
marks. That's 15 and 9. So we're suggesting that not that we take away that whole service road, just one long strip of grave plots, which would be full burial plots. And we would add another section, number 23. There's 22 sections right now, but we would add section number 23 once we took that for the, for the burial plots. Yeah, so the map is up there. What we're also talking about is up at the summit near Sasana, where we closed off that parking area with the new paved parking area, and that would be, we would sell plots there for cremain only. I've talked with Fred about it before, and he said that it is very rocky up there. And it's a challenge for them to dig the plots for burials. So, okay, you can go to the next page. So we're suggesting these between 60 and 70 plots. It would be that new section 23. And on the next one, we're talking about 50 to 60 new plots for the cremain up at by Sasana. That's section 7. Well, in Martha Lyons' report and other people's opinions, if we moved the gazebo out of there, and took that pad out, we'd probably have twice as many plots there for cremains. So, we're not really, talking about that right now. So, we do need to, I spent some time with Nate on this information, and, we do need to, register with, the state, cemetery committee, what, our prices for plots will be when we decide to do it. That's essentially what this is. That, it says other things. If we, once we did open it up to plots, we need to revise our rules book for the cemetery. On this page, this is one of the, this is from fall of 2024 from the state. Essentially, it's saying that we need to have two accounts for the cemetery. Our perpetual care fund, which we have, and we have to have a maintenance fund, which would be, well, we do have that one small CD that, at any rate, so one of the requirements is when the interments happen in the cemetery, we need to take $35 and put that into the perpetual care fund. Okay, and there's also another fee that we haven't been, I don't have papers on it here now, but there's a fund in New York State for monument repairs, and we're supposed to be sending $5 per plot that's when interment happens. Okay, so on the next page here, the fees. Now these, we spoke with Sean Fahey, and he's has these costs from other cemeteries around the area. You can see Tioga Cemetery, they're selling their grave sites for $800, and their interment fees are $850, etc. And they, St. Patrick's is $750, Gibson Corners is $800, and Halsey Valley Cemetery is $500. Or no, it's $600. Excuse me, $600. I also checked with Vestal Hills, and their plots they sell, it's between $1,200 and $1,800 is what they charge. It really is it's the cemetery there is one of the jewels of the village. People go up there all the time to look at our valley, and so what we're suggesting is that in that new section that we create, which are full-size burial plots, 4 foot by 10 foot, that the purchase price would be $900 and interment fee would be $950. So, you know, that $37 that I mentioned will come out of that interment fee, and the rest would, you know, go to DPW for their work. And we're suggesting for the cremain plots that those we sell for $1,200. Now in those you can have 2 interments in the cremain. So, and we're suggesting a interment fee for each burial there would be $650, and you know, if both interments happened at the same time, it would be the $1,200. And so we're suggesting disbursement of the purchase price of the plots. That 20% of it would go towards administrative fees. 30% would go into the perpetual care fund, and put the other 50% into the maintenance account. Okay, now, these are just suggestions. At the moment, like I said, I talked with Nate, and he said that before we can start with this, we really need to have a cemetery consultant come and help us get everything in order as far as maps, everything about the cemetery as far as how fees are handled, etc., to get that organized for us. So all I'm asking at this point is that the cemetery committee is proposing that the village of Owego begin the process of reopening plot sales in Owego Evergreen Cemetery, following the guidelines of New York State Cemetery Board.
And I would add to that, Fran, that you were probably seeking permission to do, have me put an RFP together to hire a consultant to assist the village in, exploring this, recommending a very specific path about how to do it, that type of thing, to get us to the point where we can say, we're open for sale.
Okay, so yes, I'd like to have Nate send out the RFP, you said?
I'll draft one.
Draft
I won't
one.
send it out.
Draft it to find a consultant for us for the cemetery. I don't know, any other cemetery board members?
I just want to make a comment that somewhere I read that, I believe it's Tioga Cemetery is running out of space.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know
not,
about St. Pat's, but I do know that I think Tioga Cemetery is running out of space to sell burials. So that could put us between St. Pat's and however much property they have out there, I don't know. But, that would be a good point.
I think that would be one of the things a consultant would do is really look at, what's the need, what's the local availability, what's the costs for the village to actually open it up, take care of it, what's the strategic plan for this cemetery? What's the 50-year plan? That's the length of time that the village needs to be thinking about this. Not that, you folks are thinking like that, but I think having a consultant who really does this day in, day out, very familiar with normal New York State rules and things about best practices for this would be the way to go. But I have no idea what it would cost. That's the thing. That's why we do an RFP to get some proposals.
okay, so I'll read my statement again. The cemetery committee proposes that the village of Owego begin the process of reopening lot sales at Owego Evergreen Cemetery, following the guidelines of New York State Cemetery Board. And in addition to this, we want to have an RFP to find a consultant to help us with figuring out the process.
That's a motion.
It's a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any discussion on the motion? Laura?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Fran?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
And yes. Thank you guys. Work with Nate, we'll get that put together. Now,
Can I just,
yeah.
when did we, Justin's,
Well, yeah, I have several other items to handle with the cemetery committee. I don't know if I should do it now or wait till
You do it now.
later. Okay.
What do you got?
We have a bid. One passed around for the repair of the Thomas Platt Memorial That is in section 4. It's, well, it was built in 1910. And unfortunately, a lot of the stones and so on are coming off. So this is one of the plots that we wanted to repair, since we'd have the cemetery monument repair fund. Yeah, John had talked with Holsinger and Richard's Funeral Home. There are not many monument repair companies around. We've been trying to get somebody for this whole year. So that they are proposing would be $17,700, the full scope. And they would like to do it in the fall, you know, when the weather's a little easier to work with. And he said it'll take 30 days to get it done. I don't know, should I read down the whole thing or can everybody
We
just?
all have it. The only question is if we need multiple bids.
So it's under 20,000, so it's not required to be competitively bid, at least the quote that you got. So what you should be doing is just documenting what efforts you made to find another vendor.
Mhm.
Who did you reach out to? When did you reach out? Just the days and the times when you do that. How did you communicate to them? Was it by phone or by email? Did they just not respond? Just like a short memo, because that's the type of information that should just go with the file to show that you followed your procurement policy.
So we need to do that before we can approve this bid?
Well, that's going to be the board's, I guess, decision about whether they trust your statement and that you'll supply the supporting backup, or if they'd like to see that backup first.
Well, you guys all know Justin. Justin's done work all over the village. He did the work with the fire department, but where the steamer is gonna be. Justin's got a good reputation. So, I mean, he did the Parker from Valley Vault up there, all that work.
This is the gentleman who's proposing to do the work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not about him, it's about who else did you try to reach out to, and what was their response or lack of response, and like, when did you reach out to?
Well, we reached out to a guy last summer that Peter Gordon had reached out to, and the guy started power washing it, and I don't know if there was a price on that or not. There's really nobody else in this area that does the kind of work that Justin does. And my understanding is this would be coming out of the funding
Monument
that's
repair fund, yes.
set aside for the monument repair, am I correct?
Mhm.
And my understanding is that money is there, but more than that is there. Some of you have been up to the cemetery. I don't know if you've seen boss plans. It's monstrous. There's about 53 tons of stone there. In the fall, you look up from the driveway, you can see the front of it.
And the leaves are gone.
Right, when all the leaves are gone. It's big enough, it's got stairs on each side, you can walk on it.
I'm sure it needs done. I guess my concern is that you reaching out to one person last summer is almost a year ago now.
Well, no, that was last summer. I met Justin up there 4 months ago when we originally talked about doing.
He's the guy that does the work. The issue is we need to get quotes from people, from other vendors. And I don't know, because I don't know the work, right? I don't know if there's anyone in Broome County that could do it, possibly Tompkins County, Young County. If there is there anybody in Waverly who can do this type of work? I don't know. This is the type of thing that we probably normally have. Fred's gonna be like, all right. But I mean, have Fred reach out to potential vendors who could do this and try to get quotes from them.
We heard at the beginning of the meeting that this company, Echo, what was the name of it?
Eco.
Eco Monument
Power washing.
Clean the,
This is a lot more power washing.
Yeah, there's
a-
more than
power
there's
washing.
a
That's probably
whole,
still there.
the sides
Power
are
washing is just the beginning
falling
of it.
off.
But anyway, I mean, I think Fred could take this proposed scope of work and call around to several vendors and just see, and then come back to the next meeting and say, hey, I was able to get some quotes or not. If we don't get any quotes after reaching out, that's fine. We can then go with this guy. But if other people give quotes, then we have to look at them, and whoever is lowest is likely the one that the village ends up going with.
Even though we got the mice in there, we still have to follow our procedures.
don't we have to contact any remaining
Yes, that's,
relatives? And
yes, we have to publicize in the Courier
has that process been started
No.
for this?
until we have approval to do the work.
Well, one thing, Fran, we don't want to do, so if the relatives can object to it, is that the point of the notice there?
Well, like, who's requesting that this be done? Usually the family,
No,
you know,
the cemetery
kind of
committee.
also helps out, or like if there's been damage or something, but what's the record?
The last time when, again, last summer, when the guy was here, there was a notice was put in the Courier out to any plat family members at all, and nobody responded.
But
So
we
we
would
got-
need to do that again this.
Right. This is our, out of all the monuments out there that need repair, this is the major one. This is the big one. We don't need the front end of that thing falling off. And it's already, like I said, there's 52 tons of stone there between the top and the sides and the whole works. We don't need it falling apart any more than what it already has.
Did somebody do an assessment of it? Like a engineer, or like how do you know that there's, how did you document the existing conditions and the deterioration?
Because it's right up there, just go up there and look. You can see the deterioration. The stones were on the ground, and I think at some point DPW guys moved them to get them so they could mow down in there, but they just literally have fallen off. Behind those are all terracotta bricks. And core, like I said, there's articles from the newspapers of how they built this thing, how they got all that stone up there by horse to the top of the hill, but then from there to where it's at, I have no idea. They didn't have cranes back there and front loaders, because it was built 1909? 1910, well, that's when he died. So, but anyways, you look at the damage to it, and this has been from ages of, years of neglect, and there's nobody there to, so.
I think trustee Spencer's point is, have you had it inspected to see the extent of the damage so that you may have to do more than this, or?
Justin was the one that went up there, looked at the extent of the damage. He may have to remove a couple more pieces of the facade, which are thick pieces. They're that thick, and they're this long. Where some of the mortar between the bricks has starting to wear away because it sits on a slope. So when it rains, all that water sits there, and so basically the power wash it, do an assessment of how much they have to do, and then try to, yes.
We just said that earlier, that we wanted to look at hiring a cemetery consultant to address things, and I think it would be good if we added this monument restoration projects onto it, because then they could help assist us with digging up the records and doing the proper documentation for how the monument has deteriorated, how we've tried to contact any surviving relatives, and that we just cover all our due diligence of keeping keeping records of the spaces and what repairs we've done for the perpetual maintenance on the cemetery, because I don't think we've gathered enough information to make a decision tonight on it.
You couldn't anyway, 'cause they-
Well, we're not gonna be able to move the monument. I mean, it is where it is. We're just trying to preserve it. This was a very influential person in this village. He owned a number of businesses, and at one point in time, he was our New York State rep in House of Representatives, and he was also went into the Senate, New York State, federal Senate. So
There's no moving this with a crane. You have to dismantle the entire thing. So, like I said, if anybody who's been around here long enough knows exactly
I
what
don't
we're
think
talking
anybody's
about.
tantalized on the idea of moving this. We just need
No.
to reach out to other vendors.
Exactly.
It's about the
Yeah.
same size as one of the stones of the Great Pyramid.
Right. So, I mean, we can't vote on this tonight regardless.
Yeah, because we need at least some other vendors to say no.
Right.
I mean, if the notice needs to go in the paper, or I'm just completely unfamiliar with the process for monument restoration and the requirements for that, but it's a newspaper notice, and that newspaper notice should probably get published at the village. Is considering doing work on the monument, and any interested family members who have concerns about it should come and talk. I wouldn't want to award a contract to do the work and then do the notice, because if somebody objects, we've already awarded the contract, so you should do the
Right.
notice before we.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Award.
So that's okay to do for,
Yeah, as long as it's phrased correctly, which is
Yeah.
like, hey, we're considering this work, if, please come and talk to us. Phrase it.
Oh, yeah, no, that is the procedure. We have to publicize it first.
But that should happen before you approve a quote.
Mr.
yeah,
Mayor,
so you would want that
if
now.
somebody in the
Yeah.
audience has a question.
Yeah, it should be as soon as possible in the courier.
Sorry to teach you.
We got a question?
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So I'm getting two conflicting routes that we're supposed to take. One is to kind of go ahead when Nate is saying to just get other vendors. And the other is halt without the proper documentation to even do this. So what path do we take?
That's a good question.
Laura was proposing waiting entirely until a consultant's been retained to do a review of, possibly this specific monument, maybe other monuments, and incorporate that probably into a longer term plan with, immediate urgent issues, medium term, longer term. I think that's largely where Laura was going. Fran, I think, is saying, and you folks are requesting, that the village just move forward with this particular monument right now, and that's it. If the village board chooses to do that, then the village needs to get some other documentation about outreach to other potential vendors on what it might cost, so that way we can follow a procurement policy. And then there's gotta be some notice requirement apparently to the public at large, last known relatives of the decedent, in case, I guess, that person has an objection to whatever the work might be.
So what should we do first? The documentation footwork? Because why go get vendors if we don't have the proper documentation? I guess it's.
The village board is in the middle of discussing which path to take.
Okay, so we'll just wait for the next meeting.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do right now. They might say, yeah, go ahead.
We might figure out those two options at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
It's ready to go.
the monument repair fund, the stated purpose is to do the oldest, most dilapidated monuments first. And I mean, that's pretty old.
Yes, it's
done.
just in the past few years, more and more damages.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
And the thing is, too, we want to go forward with other monuments, but we want to make sure we're doing it correctly on this first shot through, so we can follow, because as you know, up there, monuments have fallen down, and we need a lot of work up there. And we can only do so much monetarily with repairing them. So we want to make sure we're doing it correctly. This is our first shot at doing this.
Now, and the cemetery committee and the Friends of Owego Cemetery, we've been doing an inventory of the whole cemetery as far as monuments that need to be repaired. We haven't completed that yet, but, yeah, this, we'll, see what we can find. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, at this point, it sounds like it's a good time to put the advertisement in the paper again, looking for the family.
Yes.
Call a few vendors and then come back in 13 days, and then we can vote, because then you would know whether there's another vendor out there that might be able to do it for cheaper, or there are no other vendors that choose to take it. And you would also have started with the family seeking process again. Is there a certain amount of time we have to wait for family to respond?
I
Or-
have no idea. I mean, I've never looked into this before.
Okay.
I mean, some of this might even be, this might have been where Laura was thinking, finding the last known owners, and basically telling them, you actually need to repair it, because this is actually your cemetery, this is your relative, this is decedent. And, I'm just looking briefly at the New York State requirements for dilapidated monuments, and it's like, oh yeah, you give a notice to the last known owner, relatives of the person, and say, you need to fix it. If you don't fix it, then we're gonna fix it. It's dangerous. Like, that's like a 90-day notice. I'm not sure we have to follow that requirement here, but like, again, I've never been asked to look into this before. I don't know this specific question and procedure for actually doing it.
So maybe a good path would be to try and get more bids. Nate looks into what we need to do, figure out what to do from there.
Okay, well, we'll table it for now. One other item is, we have, someone who would like to, join the cemetery committee.
I talked with him, I spoke with him, and he's got a family.
Oh, okay.
That takes on,
All right.
It's
Forget
on
that.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm all done.
Never mind.
So, sorry, I think it's actually, that's all right.
He's got what?
Yeah, Brad said that, with the kids.
Thanks, Brad.
Oh, I just saw him today,
Okay,
he
well-
was like excited about
Was
it.
it like two? Well,
Yeah.
let's, we'll
Okay.
see
I'll
what
talk
he
to him more about
says before.
We can always add next meeting if you want to.
Okay,
All right, so you're good?
thank you.
Okay. Let's do department head reports. We'll do Joe to start with, since he's been hanging out here with us.
Mine is easy. Just year-to-date calls for service, 5,844. August, for the month of August, we had 798, 23 arrests. Go through the breakdown of the arrests, 27 traffic tickets, 30 parking tickets, and 13 motor vehicle crashes. One other thing I want to bring up is Village Appreciation Night, which is scheduled for Friday, October 17th. It's a bonfire. I think the hours are 5:30, 9:30 or something like that. That's gonna vary, maybe 5 to 9:30 it is. Gonna be similar to last year with hot air balloon, fireworks, bonfire, obviously free food and drink, and all the other stuff that we do for the community and the kids there. So I guess I'm asking for permission to use the park that night.
Right, so we need to grant permission to use Marvin Park that night.
Make a motion that we allow them to do their
Contingent.
appreciation.
Contingent on all the proper licenses, like from the fireworks people and whatnot.
Second that.
The other thing I have is about 4 months ago, we hired Officer Geistorfer.
Hold on, let's vote on that.
Oh, sorry.
Any other discussion about the appreciation night? It's October 17th. In the evening, we'll figure out the exact times.
Keep cutting into my profit margin, sir.
I put it into the close.
I'm sure I'll be grilling millions of hamburgers.
Promise you will.
Let's vote on that. Laura,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
yes, and yes. Okay. Not voting.
Sorry. Next one, we hired Officer Geistorfer, full-time Alex. And when we hired him, we had to hire him provisionally because he hadn't taken the test yet. He's taken the test and he is reachable. So I need the mayor fill out the form and send it back, if you didn't already, that civil service sent you. And we just need board minutes that said, yes, you approve full-time civil service, although he already is full-time. That's why we move from provisional to civil service. They may not even need those minutes, they may
We already have-
just
we
need
already
the
have a
original minutes.
We already have a motion appointing him as provisional, right?
Yes.
Did it expressly say provisional?
I don't know if it said provisional on it, but I think it's, I don't remember.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think you'd have a motion recognizing his meeting of the requirements for his status as a full-time probationary employee of the village of Owego. Just, I mean, you're not hiring again, you've already hired him, really, I mean, provisional to probationary, provisional is just, yeah, I don't have the requirements yet, but now he's got them, so he takes that next step up.
Right. Anybody want to make that motion?
So, okay,
I make that motion.
I was gonna say it.
Oh, go for it. Go for it.
I make a motion that we, change Alex Geisdorfer, to move him to be known as a civil service full-time position.
Yeah, he's already civil, everybody's civil service, he's moving from provisional status to probationary status.
Okay, from provisionary status to probationary status.
Which is on the third number of days.
Right. And you should have.
And we should have set that number of days.
You should have set that number of days. If you didn't, then it's, 8 weeks to 52 weeks. Right.
Yeah, second.
We usually say the minimum period for the officers.
I think it's 18 months, actually.
Yeah.
Right.
Six months, it's 6 months to 18 months.
Yeah, you should go with the maximum.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
And I
go
have
with
no problem
the
with
maximum of the 18 months for the probationary period in the motion.
And I don't know how civil service will do that, they may have started that from
Yeah, I don't know if they
his
started
higher
that.
date.
I think people get credit now. As of the provisional date, that was a change in the law.
Yeah, I think so, awesome.
All right, that's the motion. Recognize that status change. We got a first and a second, any other discussion? Laura,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
Fran,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and yes. Okay. Anything else from the police?
That's it.
EMS?
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
Careful. We don't need to handle.
No, we don't. So for Rusty, I've handed out my paperwork already. For the calls for August, we had 113. We were at mutual aid for 15. We have 2 new volunteer members. We have Courtney Marie Griffin and Amanda Chantel Gaudette Carter. And then we also have 2 paid staff that we need to vote on for Tracy Rose and Jason Reynolds. So those are the positive ones. So we'll need.
We haven't gotten them in there yet.
Yeah, we haven't gotten it.
Yeah, but it's duly noted, we're gonna hit that part.
You'll get there later. All right. So for the paid staff, well, we should do the volunteers too, unless you do all of them later. All right.
They're all there.
I didn't look at the agenda, so. Sorry. We do have 3 that resigned. One of our paid staff already resigned, and Jeff and Amber Duke also resigned as volunteers.
Do we need to accept their resignations unofficially?
You just recognize them, but we can't stop somebody from resigning.
So I'll make a motion that we recognize the resignation of Jeff and Amber Duke as volunteers from the EMS squad.
A second. Fran?
Yep.
Terry?
Yes.
John?
Yep.
Laura?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
Yes. Don't ignore that.
And then how do we treat the paid staff? Do we
Same.
just make a notation that we accept the resignation of Ellery Rodriguez from the paid staff from the EMS?
Employment at will here in states, we can make somebody work.
I'll second that.
Didn't they just join recently?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so.
We're going to accept Ellery's resignation. Brandon,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Charles,
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Yes.
Who seconded that?
Ron did.
So next, as far as our vehicles go, 2031's doing well. We had some module issues, so we got those finally fixed today. We got a new module for the back because obviously last month we had a screw loose. The screw wasn't completely the issue; it was the electronics inside it. So that's been replaced. 2033 is still out of service. Hopefully, we'll get it down to the VCI in October when we get 2032 back. 2034 is running strong, 57,000 miles, and 2051's got 50, and no issues with either of them. There were some minor things we've been working on to maintain and update the vehicles and that kind of stuff. Cradle point's been installed in all the trucks and is working well along with the monitor brackets. We had our State Department of Health inspection on August 13th, and I say we passed with flying colors because we're still in service and they had no opportunity, well, they had opportunities for improvement because there's always room for improvement, but nothing that we have to formally respond with. The one piece the mayor and I are going to work on is sending a letter to them to correct the issue with our CON. So when the split happened between fire and EMS, they put wordage on the CON which doesn't match what the lettering is on the ambulances. So we've got to submit them a letter saying we want to change it so they match. So we don't have to spend $10,000 to change the graphics on the ambulances. Yes. We also participated in the summer enrichment at OES, so that was good. We had a CPR class for OPD and OEMS, so that went well. And we have 2 members in EMT class and 1 in paramedic class. Also, we have a presentation that Derek's put together based on our EMS facility to get the ball rolling and what we want to do for the future of EMS as far as facilities go, because obviously we all know we received a letter from the fire department that they don't want us to be in the facility with them. So Derek put this together, so I'll let him help explain it. But the only other old business is the facility issues we're having. So hopefully this new proposal and where we want to go will help solve that. Yes?
You said you received a letter from the fire department that says they don't want you in the building?
Yes, you guys did. What, a month ago?
2 months.
2 months ago?
From the company and the fire department as well.
Yep. They don't want to share with us in the building anymore.
Where's the letter that said that?
It was a couple months ago. Yeah. I think everybody got copies of it, but I definitely have copies of it.
He's got the hard copy.
Okay.
Use that.
When is your membership? I need to put it on my calendar.
It's, yeah, I'll have to look when I sit back down. It's on the phone. I'll text it to you.
I mean, I get the text anyway.
Yes. So if my friend Mr. Derek would like to join us and go over our needs assessment that he's put together, he's been working very hard at this, so I want to say thank you. And I think it's a great start and gives us lots of stuff to think about and talk through.
And this is, we kind of talked, you guys are going to start looking at options and maybe exploring grant options and that kind of stuff.
So, as Mike said, I put some information together that I've collected over the last couple weeks since we last talked. In the fold out or in the file has just who we are. That's right off of our website if you've never been there. So it just gives you a little bit of history. On page 3 it goes over where we're at now in the building built 1911, being used by EMS and the fire department. These are just some quick facts of the current quarters that we're in. Do you want me to read through these or? just for everybody.
Nobody, like, they don't have anything.
Yeah, oh, sure, okay, that's right, yeah, I could have done that. Anyway, so the building was built in 1911. The building is grossly insufficient as an operable EMS building. There's no exhaust mitigation opening up staff and volunteers to harmful air quality scenarios. There's no sleeping quarters for staff or volunteers. There's no kitchen. There's not an area to properly decon equipment. We're using already stressed area of the building, acting as squatters, because we're just borrowing the space from the fire department. The fire department recently approached the village board asking us to vacate the building as the need of the fire departments are ever changing. The third floor and the basement are currently deemed not habitable. There's currently no idea who has keys to the building, and with having narcotics stored on the site, that could open ourselves to serious liabilities. Which one of the concerns was brought to us by the state. Washing and upkeep of the vehicles is extremely difficult, time-consuming, and expensive. So those are just some of the quick facts. I know at the last meeting or 2 meetings ago, we talked about getting a door fob system. That has not happened yet. I don't know what the holdup is, but it hasn't happened yet. So the building is still left open all the time. The last 3 times I was there, nobody was there, and the doors are wide open. It's every single time I go down there, the doors are open, and we got narcotics right in the bay. Yes, they're locked up, but somebody's really wanting to get into that building. They just walk in and start breaking things open. We're going to be seriously held liable for all that. Yeah. Current state of not including the hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment sitting there. Current state of Owego EMS. So in recent months, it's been expressed by virtually every member of the Owego Emergency Medical Squad that the need for a new building has come and gone, and the morale is at an all-time low. It's hard to have a system of recruitment and retention when we really don't have an area that is ours to promote. The ambulance corps is getting busier. As the age of our community grows older, the needs of Owego EMS are ever growing. As of today, Owego EMS has been requested by Tioga County to respond to over 1,190 calls for help. This is putting us on a pace for 1,800 calls for 2025, or on average 4.9 calls per day. With our inadequate rig and crew areas, it is added stress on our team that is already doing a stressful enough job. The future of OEMS. We'd like to start the next chapter of OEMS. We'd like to have a building that fits the vast ever-growing needs of the community. We need to do our due diligence to be ever ready to respond to any call for help or to assist our neighboring communities when they call. We have people coming in from all over the country and world to see our village. We take a lot of pride in our village and the Southern Tier and our festivals. Let's continue that level of pride with the Owego Emergency Squad. Needs for the present and future. So I broke some of this stuff out. Again, these are just quick points to get some stuff on paper. We talk about the ambulance bay and logistics, crew quarters and facilities, technology and safety, sustainability, and durability for the building, and potential properties and grants, which is what we talked about last time I was here. So ambulance bay and logistics. So this is just what like FEMA talks about and Department of Health and New York State laws. So one of the laws that we have to fall into any sort of building that's built for emergency services now has to meet a 100-year requirement. So some of that stuff falls into this. And for safety wise. So they talk about the doors, looking at folding or accordion doors as opposed to the doors that come up and down. A lot of departments in the country are now going to doors that open side to side. Ventilation and exhaust system, we don't have one. So we need to install a vehicle exhaust removal system with hoses to protect staff from diesel fumes. Even with the clean air, it's still a requirement. If you look at all the cancer studies that are going out there right now between volunteer and career departments, every single department is being required to have some sort of mitigation for diesel fumes. Decon and cleaning, including a dedicated wash station with easy clean surfaces and proper drainage to disinfect ambulances, which we currently don't have. Most of our decon is done at the ambulance building, or at the hospitals. High visibility markings, that's just for tape on the door for safety and for safer vehicle navigation. Right now, we have about an inch or two on either side of the trucks when we're pulling and backing in. And as everybody knows here, the vehicles are only getting bigger. Vessel just got a brand new fire truck. It is literally the same truck we bought 20 years ago, but it's 4 inches wider, 4 inches taller, and 14 inches longer. The new ambulances are going to be the same thing. The next round of ambulances that we get with the next things that are coming out probably won't fit in the current spots that we have. We'll either have to get out and bend the mirrors in or something, because the chassis are just getting bigger, and that's just due to the regulations that the government is setting forth for the size of the engines. The engines are getting bigger, the compartments are getting bigger, and the trucks are getting bigger. And there's literally nothing that we can do about it.
So that will no longer fit within the tunnel going in the sewer plants.
I mean, you know, but yeah, it's a far cry from the old Cadillacs. You know what I mean? And the trucks the chassis are just getting bigger. And to be honest with you, with the way that the engines are being worked, we're running this in the fire service, we have to go to bigger trucks because the engines are smaller, the horsepower is not there, but it's the weight distribution. So the gross vehicle weight is where the ambulances fall into. So now instead of doing 350s, you're gonna have 450s, and the 450s engines are only getting worse, and then probably gonna have to go to 550s next time. Like it's just one of those things, and we don't really have a lot of options other than to go to commercial chassis, which forget it, they won't fit anything we have here. You know what I mean? You'd be looking at half the size of one of our fire
Just
trucks.
put information in my back burner for the state when we give them reasons why we need a new tunnel. Or
Yeah. And I'll expand on this as time goes on. But secure storage, again, just having a place that our stuff is secure. I mean, we just spent, $500,000 on equipment this year? And we have no way to keep it safe in that building. Vehicle space, insurance space, again, current fleet of 4 ambulances, a medical fly car with room expansion to at least 6 vehicles, only just because that's just the way that, we want to have room for expansion. The crew quarters, right now we don't really have any crew quarters. The industry now is going to individual dorms, so people have semi-private dormitories for better rest and privacy. Everybody's talking about physical fitness. Gender-neutral facilities is obviously a thing. For bathrooms and lockers, right now, if one of our crew members does get contaminated or has to do anything, we don't have a place for them to decon. They have to go next door, or they have to go back to the hospital. So we don't even have a place to do that. Administrative and training spaces, right now, we're just using the second floor for as much as we can, which just adds up in a whole other level of concerns. And then we have nowhere for anybody to make any kind of food or have any kind of sustainable time, which makes it hard for us to ask people to do like 24-hour shifts because we really have nowhere for them to go. And that's just the way of the world. Most ambulance corps in this country do 24-hour shifts. It's very hard for us to ask somebody to be there, volunteer or paid, for 24 hours when we just don't even have the stuff to get by. Technology and safety. As Chief Rowan said earlier, we added in the data point, the cradle points to the trucks. That's a Wi-Fi, correct me if I'm wrong, that's Wi-Fi, so we have it out there. All of our imaging and all of our PCR documentation now is all done via computer. Obviously, we're using cell phones and laptops and iPads and stuff to get to calls because not everybody's from Owego, not everybody knows, and if you got to go mutual aid, you got to know how to get there. So technologies are moving. We're trying to work with what we can with what we have and what the county's offering. And it's my knowledge that the county's completely upgrading our systems at the squad building here in the next month or so. So all of our equipment will have to change over. Sustainability and durability. High performance building envelope, again, this falls into the 100-year aspect of having a building that's going to maintain itself, basically. With all the energy efficiency requirements now, we always have to look into that. Durability, easy to clean surfaces, again, for what our level of work is, it's nice to have something that we can clean up real quick. And then future-proofing, design the future growth with a modular approach or a planning potential expansion of the ambulance bay and crew quarters. And the next page just goes over some potential properties and grants. So I was working with the land bank at Tioga County. We just ran some quick spaces. I gave her kind of just like it's got to be at least this big. So she was able to, and I say she, it was Brittany Woodburn's been helping us go through some of this stuff. So again, these are just some proposals. I haven't talked to anybody. I was just putting some information together. In the document, you can see some of the places. I put the addresses, the information, and just some pictures off of Google Earth, just so you guys can have an idea of what properties we're talking about. We did have about 8 or 9. There was 5 that just would absolutely not work for us unless we had like a 4-story building. And again, keeping everything as much out of the 100-year plains, as 100-year flood zone as possible. One of these is in the 500 flood, but we would still be able to build a building in it as long as all the utilities were either in the 2nd floor or above the bays. We would be able to build it and be within the law. So there's 4 different properties there. Looking at all of them, 54 Temple Street, I think would be the best for us and our needs, and it keeps us close to home. And again, you'll see things in here. We haven't even talked to anybody else about this. It's just this is for information only. 54 Temple Street is actually, there's five lots there. I think there's 5 lots, 4 or 5. There's 4 or 5 lots. The first lot is owned by the county. The second lot in the picture, that house is actually not there. The house behind it is still there, but it's half condemned by the code enforcement. And then the next 2 lots are also empty. The 3 empty lots are owned by the land bank. The land bank has already said they would donate it to us if we could get the other piece of that property. Good luck with that. Yeah. So anyway, something to work towards. And these again, just all the things that we're looking at. And we all know here, properties at premium. There's not a lot. God's not making any more, so we gotta try and finagle what we got. There's one there on North Avenue. I mean, the property's okay. It's down in the hole, but it's kind of on the outskirts of town, on the north end of town. I think there's the McCluskey's one there or something. The auto parts place would be feasible. Right now, the building is currently just being used for storage. There'd probably be a lot of site work for that one. The Fox Street one, I can't remember. I know it says here who owns it, but I think it's actually the people that own one of the hardware stores. I can't remember which one it said. But again, these are just 4 that I looked at. Grant opportunities, there's USDA community facilities, CDBG, and the Regional Council for Capital Funds. Right now, there's about $3 million worth of grants that we would fall into. The money has been sitting there for a long time. We could put in for. We would just have to come up with, they won't give us the money until we have a plan. So we'd have to find a piece of property, do what we can to get to buy it out or whatever. And there is grant money for things like that. Also, the land bank would be willing to work with us on, building removal, site plan work, that kind of stuff, to help offset some of those costs. And then just some pictures of the future. Again, these are just some ideas. I have no idea what it would look like. It's all going to depend on what the piece of property is. But just to give you guys some insight on the inside of the building, the picture here with the ambulances has the Plimo vents, which is the mitigation for the exhaust off of diesel fuels. So that's kind of like what a new ambulance corps would look like on the inside. Actually, this building here is in Arizona, and it's only about a couple months old. So this is kind of what the industry is going towards right now. And as you can clearly see in there, there's room for expansion. Future multi-level came up, 2 floors. We might have to, depending on the property. We just might have to. It might literally be not a choice. It's not our first choice, but we might, depending on the property, we might have to go to 2 stories. That adds in a whole nother level of concerns, I'll say. Because then you start getting the ADA requirement, who's allowed to go upstairs, who's not allowed to go upstairs. As an ambulance corps, we do fall into certain exemptions. We would have to literally go through them one by one. Like if it's only accessible for the ambulance crew, we don't have to have an elevator. If nobody else except for squad people or the people of the, that we say that can go up there, then we don't have to have an elevator. But if there's any sort of communal area upstairs, that kicks in an elevator, which we know the cost of an elevator. Future adequate room for equipment, future place to invite others to and to be proud of. And finally, I know there's a lot of talk on the back piece is what's possible, in emergency services building. Because I know police department has the same concerns with their building. We have the concerns with our building. The fire department has expressed concerns with their other two buildings that they're growing out of. So again, it's just a thought process. I put it together today, or I've been putting it together over the last couple months, but I just wanted to have some ideas. This is what we're working with. And just bring it to your guys' attention. So if you guys have any questions, I try and answer the best I can. I don't think it's not doable. I think the hardest thing that we're going to find, I think the hardest problem that we're going to have is the property. I figure once we get the property, the rest of it's going to be easy. So if that tells you anything, I think the property is what's going to really hold us up. Now,
Damn block vacant over on Temple and Liberty.
There are. So the land bank did take me to a couple other ones, but all the other ones that I took off were far into the floodplain. It would cost us probably 3 times as much to develop those properties.
Would it be easier to get grants for emergency services building than just for EMS? Yes.
Yes. Like if we wanted to do a joint building, even if it was just us and police, that opens up huge.
Because we are rather landlocked.
Right, 100%,
We like our
100%.
emergency services to be close to us.
What I think from mine and Chief Ronan's point of view is like we're not against any idea at this point. We just want something that's going to be adequate and useful. If that involves the police department or another fire station or a multi-use station or whatever the case may be, it's just going to come down to the land. It's literally just going to come down. How can we find something that's going to hold? I mean, no matter what, we got to put 5 rigs into it, right? So that right there is just, the whole footprint of what we already have, right?
I was going to ask the obvious question.
Yeah.
If fire and EMS were in the same building, would that work? I don't know why they don't want you there. It's really none of my concern. But if we spent $20 million on emergency services and you guys still butt heads, that could be an issue.
I think it will. I mean, I don't know. From my
I understand
perspective,
you're only speaking for yourself.
Yeah, from my perspective, I think it's just a fact of we're running out of space.
I know it's a very tight situation.
Looking at what the current building, Central Station, needs to be brought up to code, it'd be better for us just to build a new building at that
I
point.
don't see that being functional that way for another 20 years.
That building is not. It would cost the village probably. We could probably build a new building that would meet our needs for under $4 million right now, where it would probably cost us $4 million just to bring that up to code.
I know what the roof is going to cost you.
Yeah. So, and then we're still into the no spot. Like we don't have space, right?
Yeah, that's got to be a hard street to get in and out of.
Yeah. So there's no room for expansion for either the fire or EMS side if we stay there because we still don't have enough bays. So we're still sparing. And I think the fire department, when they last were here and talked about it, they wanted to move out of both stations and build another bigger station. It's just coming down to size. Everybody's running out of room.
On this land here to do another building, or would that be a whole lot
here, but there's land between here and the training center.
Yeah.
I mean, I would much rather see money sent into emergency services. I mean, they're all going to need to be relocated at some point. It's easier to find that kind of grant opportunity.
Might I suggest a village committee of trustees to Derek to really noodle through it, because obviously you're not going to solve it tonight.
That's probably a good idea.
Sorry, I'll do this one. Sorry, what was the question?
No, we're just talking, maybe we give you a couple of trustees to work with you so that it's not work.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm willing to put the time and effort in. It's a lot of time and effort, but I'm willing to put it in because it's just what we need. When we have crews coming in, like we're constantly looking at the schedule to best fit the needs of the village, and with the way that we have it and the way that our volunteers are and the way that our paid staff is, we can't just afford to pay staff and tell them what to do. right? We have one full-time medic, everybody else is per diem. They're coming, we're asked, basically, it's like, we're asking them to come help us. They don't need us, they can walk away and go find another job anywhere else. So, I know it's volunteers, but it's the same thing with the paid staff. The first thing they're gonna be is like, hey, if I'm running late, can I take a nap? Well, yeah, sure, on a couch in the upper room where 1,000 people can walk in at any time, right? It's kind of hard. And most of the people that we're hiring per diem, that are just, these are the people that are available, are all working a full-time job somewhere else. So they're coming here in their off days, or literally the last 2 people that we just hired were like, hey, I'm working till 1800 at my current core, I'll be to you when I get there, right? So now we have to go, and I say we, Mike and myself and Adam Johnson, the guys who are helping with the schedule, that could be a 2 hour, that could be 2 hours where we don't have anybody to cover, because either we got to ask the person to stay late, the other person to come in, we got to find somebody to cover for 2 hours, we just don't know. But it's just what we have. So trying to work with what we have, I really just don't see any other way other than to do something. We got to do something.
This has been a long time coming.
Yeah, and again, when I looked at what we needed versus like, there's nothing like, there's always could be wants, right? But I think the need assessment is what we need to look at right now. I don't need anything special. I need something that will hold some ambulances, have a place for the crew to be safe, do some training. Right now we have all of our training doc. I mean, how much money do we have in training stuff? A lot. And we have people that are willing to come and train us. We have people that are on staff currently right now that are willing to put up the time to get their CME certifications so they can teach and train and keep us at the good graces of the state, to keep the CMEs going, because that's a huge thing right now. And CME is a continuing medical education. So having those people in-house that can train our people so that way we can stay certified is huge, because right now we have 2 members, one paid and one volunteer, who are in limbo. They can't ride because their CMEs ran out or paperwork got crossed. I don't know what the stories are, but if we had somebody in our facility, like we're supposed to have, according to the state, overseeing our CMEs and our training, then that would help our guys stay certified. This isn't the first time we've run into this, and it's common. Guys just forget, or they misplace their information or whatever, but the state actually told us last week we need to have a super coordinator, a CME coordinator on hand. Whether it's volunteer or we ask one of our paid people to do it, we need to have one. It's absolute. So that's another thing that we're working with right now. But again, just having that facility to be able to do the trainings is huge too. So keeping our documentation and our records, that also came up this past week. Mike and I are trying to derive some plans, is that if something happens to me or him, the next people can walk right in. Everything I'm doing and creating at the core it's right there. This is not rocket science. There's nothing hidden. I'm putting books together and SOGs on who we need to contact, what we need to do, so that way if something happens to me, the next person can just walk in and take over. Not like what I have to work with, but I think that's about it for now. We're trying to do the best we can with what we got. It's just a lot. You don't know what you don't know. Mike and I are finding out quite a few things, but we'll get there. It's fine. The ambulance is still rolling, and we are, and we're always trying to think of better ways to do things. We're looking at the schedule. We're looking at the rigs. We're looking at the replacements. We're looking at, do we buy new versus having the last 2 refurbs? Our re-chassis. So we're saving money that way. But as we see, everybody knows it. Everything keeps getting more expensive. Thankfully, in the good graces, we've been able to keep the squad going, keep it moving. We've had some holes. It's going to happen, but I think we're getting in a good place where we're going to keep things moving. But it's just gonna take some work. That's about it.
So, Mayor, should we look into changing the current code about not being able to lock the fire department during the day? I mean, that's pretty antiquated, and if we have these concerns, I think it's something where we should have made kind of right, and they would address that open door policy.
Well, my understanding is nobody knows how many keys are out there, and we're supposed to have a fob system put in. I don't know what the status is. Do you know?
Last I knew, Eric signed it and was waiting for them, but I don't know.
There's a current code written where it has to be unlocked for public inspection of.
Oh,
something or
that,
other.
yeah.
Right, that's something that's easy to remove. We just need to do it, or we're breaking our own law by locking the doors.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know if it's just alarm, is it?
Gotcha. I have no idea.
Same process in every case.
In a different time, I'm sure it was a great idea, but 100 years later at this point, not so much.
Now you got millions of dollars of equipment. So.
Right.
And narcotics. Right. With all the stuff that you need to take such narcotics. That's all I got. Anyway, anybody else have any questions?
I just want to say that when we hired you, we hit the lottery.
No, you didn't.
Well, I want to thank you for all the research you have done. Hang on to this guy.
I'm trying.
All right.
Charles, he's gonna ask for money if you keep saying that.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, he at least gets money.
I think me and Mike have an unwritten agreement anyway. If he goes, I go. If I go, he goes. So it might be a 2-for-1. But I enjoy this stuff. I really do. This isn't work to me. This is, it really just comes down to the community.
I know.
I do the same stuff for Vestal, where I live now. I did the same stuff when I lived back by the city, to the core. No, you are. You're very special now because I'm a lot older. I'm actually worth a lot more money in my experience, but I love, I like to come down and help out. So, yeah, I love to see some stuff get done forward. That's important. People are going to call. Somebody's got to go.
Call
One
them
of us has to.
It's president called them over here.
Yeah, right.
I can send you something about, there's a NOFO for a hazard mitigation revolving loan fund, and other things, so you could see about asking for a planning or scoping assessment, so that would, you pay for somebody, like a consultant, to put together what your department needs are.
Correct.
And then they would.
That would be the next step in an engineer.
Right.
Yeah.
We need an engineer drawing, which.
So we would ask for a grant to get that scoping document prepared for you.
And you need those to get more grants, typically.
Yeah, so I talked to some of the grant writers too. Is that your facility, Mike?
Yeah, did you get a text message?
Yeah, they just put in All Broome County for a smoke conditioned fire at your.
So I gotta go to work.
Yeah, we might both have to go. Sorry. Yes, and also we would need somebody to do SWIP. Do we have somebody in the Canton Village that does a SWIP assessment, stormwater prevention?
Usually.
Town or county. That's the only thing the county doesn't have somebody that does SWIP. Because we would obviously need to have it. Being in the flood zone, we would need to have somebody that can do that. Unless we find an engineer or a consulting firm that might have somebody, but it's got to be SWIP for New York State, as far as I understand. It has to be they have to be certified in New York State, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Last question. Timeline on the re-chassis?
It is getting closer.
It's been painted.
It's been painted, yes, so that's a plus. They meet on Wednesdays. I haven't heard anything major. He's expecting October, so I'm just gonna say Halloween.
Before you go, should we do those, at least those
let's do that.
people?
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, if you want, or
I can.
Terry's,
Okay.
yeah, she sat through the interviews and everything, so she knows more than I do about their interview process. I just know who they are and that they're good people, so.
Get them all done. Thank you.
But yeah, I gotta go to work, sorry.
Yeah,
Have
there's
fun.
smoke in the building.
Good luck.
Thanks.
You must go deal.
No, there's an active fire.
At Nice Egg, so,
At Nice
our
Egg.
bills will be going up again.
101 Murray Hill Road in the mechanical.
You're the ones that
Just
are
on
electric, might want
blink the
something
lights.
All right.
That's my.
We do have more,
That's my
but we'll
village.
save it for next
He
meeting.
wanted my.
Thank you.
Oh, that's my last name.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna run to CVS. They close at
That's fine.
2.
There you go. You can have that one. Do you need another copy of this?
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, he's got one already. That's a colorful copy. All right, thanks, guys. Terry, Monday. Are you good?
Yes.
Okay, we're still good for Monday
Tell me
for
the
the
time.
interview. 11.
Okay.
We do it here?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure, he's all right.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, let's do our 4 EMS people. Start with the two that are on the agenda for the volunteer.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve Courtney Marie Griffin, 280 Park Settlement Road, Owego, New York, as a new volunteer member of the Owego Emergency Squad.
Second.
Any discussion on court? We're going on court.
Yes, sorry.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Amanda Chantel Goddard Carter, 32 Spalding Hill Road, Owego, New York, as a new volunteer member of Owego Emergency Squad.
Second.
Discussion on Amanda. Fran.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
And yes. Then we have 2 per diem.
Yes, we have 2 per diem that we interviewed. I'd like to make a motion to approve Jason Rennells, and I will give you these papers in a minute, Rod, so you have the spellings. At 196 Kelsey Road, Cantor, New York, as an EMTB at a basic at $23 an hour. And I will say he has a history of driving trucks and is willing to help train new drivers with the ambulances, which would be great. So.
Second.
Any discussion on Jason? Fran.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles. Laura.
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
And yes.
Okay. And I'd like to make a motion to approve Tracy Rose, 126 Owego Street, lot number 2, Cantor, New York, as an EMTB, at $23 an hour for part-time work, for both of these. And she is a certified EMS trainer and willing to help with some of the CME program that we have.
I'll second that.
Fran's. Any other discussion? Fran.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
And yes. Okay, that's all the EMS stuff. We need the fire.
Well, are you going to?
Fred's sleeping over there.
Yeah.
DPW.
I'm short and quick.
Good thing.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay. I talked to Eric, and after they had the bitch and crap cleaned back out, we went up there and screened all the louvers. Now that that's taken care of. Mill and paved potholes, Ross Street, Erie Street, Adeline Street. We put in 60 ton of top. Ongoing mowing, going park, cemetery, chipping, lawn waste, pitch waste. Ongoing cemetery mowing, parks mowing, everything's still ongoing. We are about $16,000 in sidewalks that we put in this year on our own dime because of the trees that's caused, and there's a lot more. So we're just about done with the sidewalks. And then today, Echo Power finished power washing the monument for the vets, which I thought was a great thing. It looks absolutely stunning.
Okay, come on, nice.
They did a great job.
Who paid for that?
I did out of my budget.
How much did it cost?
$38, $70, $66. $3,800.
38,000?
$3,800.
3,800? 3,800 how much? 3,000?
$870, $66.
Let's see, you got one resolution on here?
Yep, I'd like to make a motion to take Jen Apgar from part-time at $16 per hour to full-time, $17 per hour, where she would replace, she'll go to full-time, replacing Mike House, who just retired.
I will second that.
Okay, this motion hires Jen full-time at $17 per hour. Okay. Any other, we got a first and a second, any other discussion about that? Right,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
and yes.
So it's written.
Cross that one off the list. Okay. Anything else from Fred? Got anything else?
Nope, I'm good, sir.
Thank you for all the fine work you've been doing.
Hi, how's
We're getting there.
You've been running,
We've been running.
Yeah.
We don't stop.
you know.
I assume Viola's gonna pay for the sidewalks they tore up?
Yes, sir.
All right.
The reason why they're doing that is because my goal is next year is to do the flats. So I want to do all the paving and I want them out of the road so we don't have them come back into the pavement again.
Yeah.
So, but New York State did pass a law where no galvanized and copper can meet in a water line. So they had to go back through and redo them all. And I said, get them done now, because next year we're doing that line, redoing the tall kit, everything next year for
So
that.
now electric's going up, water bill's gonna go up.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to Nate, and he made a great point that we're just gonna focus on one area of the village and then move on to another area instead of jumping around like a bunch of frogs.
Thanks for starting in my neighborhood.
Yours will be done in 2 to 3 weeks, hopefully.
Before you run out.
Oh, you better hurry.
Well, yeah, I was gonna mention it later, but I wanna get you out of here. I've been bombarded by questions that I don't have answers to concerning the signage that is not, there for the underpass. I mean, we've had so many, crashes of that underpass and people have been asking me, well, could you do something?
New York State says if it's any bridge that's 14.2 or higher, they don't need to put signs.
So how are people gonna know
And
that?
it's the
So there's
state
no
road,
sign
and
that's
you have to go
14.
through the state.
Okay. All right.
But any truck driving, you ought to know the law of what you drive.
Yeah, but then you have the idiots that only want to.
You can't pamper them all.
Not that they know how high their vehicle is, but, there's no way we can get around that by putting some kind of, we can't do it because the village can't put a sign on the railroad and the state road. So it's a catch-22.
It always is.
All right, so that's the same answer that I will give when everybody said, why is there not a sign?
Anything 14.2 or higher doesn't need a sign.
And that, I knew that, but wasn't no way around it.
I just don't understand, if they know it's close, why they're still doing 50?
Right.
And it's always
Go a little slow.
like a foot or two higher than that. They should know that too. It's elementary.
But if you're a truck driver, you should know the law. That's part of
the test.
Right.
But I think he just had a oopsie moment.
I know, that was
I
a
don't
big
think he
oops.
forgot to put the boom down.
I was 4 cars behind him when that happened.
Yes, sir.
Very nice.
Have a good night.
Thank you both.
I'm leaving with Fred.
See you, Jay. Take care. You need me out there too.
Yes, yes.
Come on, Nate, you're buying, so that's why you're coming.
We all need that. The pro housing resolution, so this is a standard thing that we passed last year and we apparently never sent in. So economic development says we have to send it in. We don't want to send it in with last year's date. So the idea is that we pass it again, even though we don't technically have to.
I motion we approve the pro-housing communities model resolution.
And we can't change it.
Second.
Any other discussion about it? If we don't do it, then nobody gets grants. Like not even the village, but the people in the village.
It might aggravate some people.
That would make some people really agree.
Can't please them all.
Fred,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Ron,
Yes.
and yes. And we'll actually send it to the state.
Was it the cost of the stamp was the problem?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for him to send us a $2 million deal.
Right. So we probably didn't have to do that, but we said it's easier.
It's just bump the budget.
Yeah, so we bumped the budget $2,000. We got a donation from the Mildred Faulkner Truman Foundation.
Which category or budget, like where is that, what's that attributed to?
Equipment.
What, like equipment for what?
I want to say it's OPD.
Yeah.
They give them one every year.
I got a line item, but I
Right.
don't know.
No, I'm pretty sure it's OPD, because they give them a $2,000 grant every year for whatever they need. Like one year we bought that radar trailer they were talking about.
I'll make a motion to bump the budget $2,000 from the money from the Mildred Faulkner Truman Foundation.
Second.
Any other discussion? And we can figure out exactly where it's going, because we got the line item there, but right now I can't, but we can get back. Frank?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
And yes. Payment of bills, and we'll pay the bills.
Let's pay the bills.
Charles makes the motion. Yes, second.
I'll second that. I didn't see anything
Any
crazy.
anybody see any crazy bills?
Ryan, take a look at this. This is a little more detailed bill.
Oh, yeah, this is the other.
Yeah, that's
report.
the Ola one, right?
No,
No,
this
this
is
is a different report.
It's like the payment of bills, but a little more detail on the bill, instead of saying like firearms, it might say what exactly what it is.
Not like a $1,300.
Flashlight.
No.
It was a $456 flashlight.
Which turned out to be.
$2,000 easy
Flashlight
pass.
and socks.
Yeah, it
Nice
turned out to be
flashlight.
like $100 flashlight, $300 boots.
What if we got to see Jeff Nye's expenses? I'm sorry.
See that?
Nice flashlight.
It was a nice flashlight.
All right, so we got a motion and a second to pay the bills. Anybody have any questions about any of the bills this time around? Brandon?
Yes.
Terry?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Ron?
Yes.
And yes. Okay.
Do you ever get any input on the water in the park, whether it was a leak or just excessive usage?
I didn't hear, other than I heard the electricity bill for the fair was like $2,000 or something like that.
The water bill I'm speaking about was before the fair. And like, they showed me the bill, it said it was higher than last year's, which I assumed, but I didn't know if we found out if there was a leak anywhere, or if it was just,
That would have been a good Fred question. We can ask him again.
yeah, so we should probably pay that bill before we get.
Yeah.
So, what do they use their vendor fees for? If we're paying the bills.
Yeah, that's the kicker, right? They have the fair and we pay for it, basically.
Yeah.
In the park for those 2 weeks, can they be paying for it?
You would think.
Yeah.
They probably should be.
If I rent a house, I gotta pay the electric.
Be worth a discussion with them.
That's our next step.
Once it's written in the contract that you don't have to.
I don't know. They've been paying for it, but.
Seems like the village is getting kicked a lot.
Well, I was gonna say, if it's a county fair, it's not fair that the village pays for the utilities for the county fair.
During those 2 weeks.
Correct.
It's not
Yeah, I
fair.
mean, if we do it, all municipalities should,
Right.
Contribute.
They all should kick in, right?
right?
I agree.
Or they should pay for it out of their vendor fees.
Or the fair board should be.
Yeah.
I agree.
Do we have a contract with them for the fair?
No, because it's in the charter and the deed of the land.
Yeah, Rusty's not here, he can't tell us.
Grandfathered in.
It's in a deed, they get it for 2 weeks a year.
Yeah.
Unless they don't do it for 2 or 3 years consecutive, then they would do so.
So they got put on some kind of show.
Right.
Right.
Bring on the monster truck.
They could just have a horse running around the track.
So is this from when they originally started the fair, like 100?
Now, this is when they deeded the Marvin Park. It's in the Marvin Park deed.
However many years ago.
We have a copy of this much.
Okay. And what's happened in past years? Have they ever paid bills like
I
that?
think sometimes they might pay us. Well, we'll look and see if they work it out. So
Yeah.
normally there's been no way to monitor it because everything's scattered.
That's true.
It's getting a little better now.
Now we got all these new meters.
Yeah, I think now we have a better chance. Before there was no chance.
Well, they did pay for the camera.
Right? There was no chance.
Yeah, do we have anything on the chicken law? You're still working on that?
Yes, we have sent some preliminary thoughts to Nate, and he gave us some info back, and we're just kind of back and forth trying to make it look nice now.
And I sent you what Nichols has, because they just had their law.
Yes. And I talked today with Code about it for a while, amongst other things, so how some of that might work.
Minutes. We got 2 versions of minutes, because we had the meeting and then I was in it.
Motion, we approve the minutes for August 18th as submitted.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's vote. Fran.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Ron.
Yes.
I went to stay because I was there. We have minutes that I took from the next week.
Oh, looks great.
They're good.
Outstanding.
And motion to approve those as submitted also.
I'll second that. Oh, sorry, Ron.
Just cut it off, I don't care. I've been talking a lot
You
tonight.
can't second all of them.
Trying to
Vote
hurt
on
some on
those.
these, you know?
Fran.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Charles.
Yes.
Laura.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes. And one of them was there. All right. Let's see, Rusty's not here. Start our trustee reports. We'll come back. Ron.
No, we fun.
Perfect. Charles.
I got nothing.
Laura.
So, the Clean Energy Communities grant that we got for $240,000, we're still working on that. We're in the planning stage because we have to advance each of our projects through the planning stage before we can get reimbursements for the car and the landscaping equipment. And so we have to finish the solar array planning stages before we're going to get the reimbursements for the other parts. And so that's the delay on getting the reimbursement money, because we haven't finished our planning stage commitments.
Wow, before we get the car.
So what we need to do is, so we revised the timeline and shared that with NYSERDA because of the delay in getting the RFP awarded. So we've revised the solar RFP for a 3rd round release, and this time we're going to do good faith efforts for meeting the MWBE requirements. So just remind everybody, this is fully funded. We already, the project money comes from a NYSERDA grant, and we would have a contractor install a solar array on the rooftop of 20 Elm Street next door, and then the village would just save on our electricity costs. That, I'd like to send it to the office and have them put it up on the contracts site, and then I'll do the MWBE.
I don't know if our office knows how to do that.
They did it for the first 2.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we could.
Yeah. Yeah. And put it on the website so that people can find the RFP when they look for it. And we would just do this for a 15-day, 2-week 15-day period for the bids to come in. And we hope to have so we're going to extend the bid so that the 3 people who bid on the second bid, we aren't going to make them have to rebid again. They can just have theirs moved over and be accepted. so that they don't have to go through the process again. And then we would just accept any other bids, and the committee will review it and then give a recommendation on which they think this board should approve to award the contract. And then once we do that, we work out the contract with the contractor. That probably will take us about 3 weeks, we thought. And then we would then send that contract to NYSERDA for grant approval, and then that's when we get our money. Once we've shown that we've got a contractor for the project. So we're only behind about a month, for 2 weeks to a month from what we have initially thought. I haven't heard from James yet on the call for art, updating it and the graphics. So
He asked you where it was at, so you guys ready to get together and figure out.
okay.
Get that done.
He's been on vacation for the last several
Yeah, he just emailed
meetings,
today.
so. Okay, so Patrick Gavin contacted Don Mittendorf from Mittendorf Contracting, and they got some drone photos of the new steamer house site and all the landscaping, and that changed how the site appears. So we're gonna use that to showcase the space that's available for art. And we just need to finish up those graphics that are going to go out with RFP, so people know where the site is that they could potentially put art.
So take up with James, because he was just emailing today, like this afternoon about that.
Okay. About the highway work permit application for the road signs, DOT official called me about that. They want the village to mark the sites where we would like the locations, and then the state would inspect the locations to make sure that they don't block the view of any of the other roadway signs that are on the roads or driveway turnout views. So we just can't block any views, block any spaces. So somebody will need to go out, mark and measure.
These signs that we already have, or just not need to place?
At 90 decibel.
Is there any way to sneak the height of the underpass on there?
So the village would also need to have a sticker on the back of the signs about where to report if the sign is damaged. It just says like who owns the sign, who's responsible, and how ownership about how repairs get done. Our DPW workers would be responsible to install the posts, breakaway pieces, and the signs. And we could only do that once they've actually approved the permit. Like they're still reviewing it. We need to mark the locations, and then they're gonna be able to finish their official review and decide if they want to approve our locations or we would just work with them until we got approval. So that's what stage that's in.
So you need to get all that stuff to DPW.
And I've been voluntarily contributing my CFM services. I've been working on a draft for the public information program and filling out the draft for the substantial damage plan template. And the village can get credit for my donated services as part of the in-kind match for the CSC, but we haven't gone through the process of getting it on there yet. So I would like to get my volunteer hours credited because we're having a little bit of an issue with the villages isn't contributing enough in kind currently as it is.
You can't get paid then.
I'm not saying, I'm not asking for that. I'm saying my voluntary hours, there's a valuation of it
I
that
guess you
in
have
my
to ask.
time.
I guess you have to ask them.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Yeah.
could do that.
It's,
Because we can't pay you no matter what.
yeah, it's in there that we can do that.
In-kind service.
It's in-kind
Trustee
services.
though, there's an issue of, because we're contract, like we have a salary amount and we cannot get paid anything more, ever.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Suggesting, like tracking these hours and submitting for credit suggests that you're, would be entitled for it if you weren't volunteering.
You wouldn't.
Right, I'm just volunteering. I mean, I'm working on it already, and this is just getting the hours credited.
I don't know enough about this program to know whether they will accept elected officials' time towards the credit or not.
Okay, they will, but there's, okay.
So you're keeping a log of your hours?
Yep, and it would involve keeping a log after, if it was approved. That I would just keep a log of what I'm working on and when, just like everybody else has to do on it.
Don't we generally approve volunteer hours before they're volunteered?
Laura's been volunteering all along for this thing.
Right, I understand that, but doesn't the board generally have knowledge of the volunteers and
You should.
actually volunteer?
Yeah, no, you absolutely need to accept volunteer services. You shouldn't just have people, nobody can just volunteer their time without it being accepted
I'm
first.
just thinking from a legal point, if we accept it, then it's all on record as, then it would make it easier to use the in-kind services if the board was actually behind the.
Yeah.
Just questions.
Yeah, it's one of those things, right? Like most of the time you don't have somebody sinking right out at this lake, right? Somebody volunteers to clean up the cemetery. Well, great, thank you. Fred's got the authority to accept that. Because I'm pretty sure we've got forms for that. We can have them fill it out and call it a day. I mean, like the type of work that Laura's doing is something that you would pay somebody to do. Like if you had a paid employee doing it, that would absolutely count. That's no problem issue there. It's just that you don't pay Laura for the things that she's doing outside of her role as a trustee. So, I can see your point about it. I mean, you guys get paid some amount of money.
Right.
So like, maybe that's the answer, the amount of hour, like, if they're trying to value
It's
it.
not very much.
Yeah, like, the
There's
amount of
a-
money that you get paid.
There's a state amount that they evaluate the volunteer for professional services, and it's like 38.62, something like that, an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this program. And most of the time, my clients, board members aren't doing the amount of time that you're putting into something like this.
I'm on the Climate Smart Communities Task Force, and there's other members on there that also could be potentially put on as donating their time. So the hydrologist, so when he does work, we could also get credit for his in-kind services when he's doing work on the project. And so it's not just me that we could be
And
looking
most
it
people
over.
don't think there's any issue because we would normally be paying him, but like in your case, we legally cannot pay you anything else.
Right, and we both offered to volunteer services, and
That's why it's in-kind service.
yeah. And we're having trouble meeting our in-kind service commitments because Mick and Meg just haven't put in the hours. Yeah, so my hours can cover for theirs for a good portion of it, so.
As long as that is legal.
Yeah.
Sounds like an eight question.
Right. I'm honestly not even sure where I'd look to find that.
Well, I can
look.
Yeah, I can send the paperwork from
It's
the
much more
contracts.
a regulatory issue with them and whether they accept the hours and claiming it. I mean, she's free to give us the services that she's doing. That's not a legal issue from our side. It's a question for the grant and what they accept or not.
Whether they count.
Right.
Yeah, when we were setting up the grant, we knew it was allowed. We just only wrote Mick and Meg into it, and and Julie. So the other volunteers can be added on. So, anyways, separately than that, I passed out door hangers to houses in the central area. So that was Spencer Street, Temple, Chestnut, Church, Elm, McMaster, Liberty, Central, Fox, and South Depot Streets. And that's information about a grant opportunity for residents for flood mitigation. And Julie and the mayor were on WEVO discussing it to tell people about what the opportunities are available. It's open for everyone. Like, you don't have to live in the 100-year floodplain. People get a lot of water coming off the hill. You can get water damage from rainstorms, and so this can help you pay for windows, sump pumps, help to your basement foundations, and energy products too, to make it more comfortable in your home and less expensive to heat and cool. So it's a really nice program that people could explore, and there's not a lot of restrictions of people telling you what to do. It's you choosing your work and your plan, and then you submit to get the grant money for it.
It seemed like a pretty decent one. You had to do one of each thing or something.
Yeah, you have to protect your home from flood or water mitigation damages, and then the rest can go to energy savings. So we're trying to cover the whole village. So Julie Nucci, Kevin Millar, Jerry Wiley, and Wes also distributed door hangers over the weekend. And we're going to have some more out here in the lobby in case people didn't get it. We didn't do the south side, and so those residents might want to come pick it up if they want the information. Attended the planning board meeting last Tuesday. They approved the site. They did the site plan review, and they recommended the area variance be approved by the zoning board for 460 East Front Street. That's Allen Investments. And then the zoning board of appeals did approve the area variance for that property with no conditions. And then they also approved general municipal law 239 referral intermunicipal agreement with the Tioga County. That agreement details which permits and actions the village and its planning and zoning boards can review without triggering a 239 review by the county. So it speeds up the village's ability to do smaller projects without having to get the county's review, because that can often delay the process because their planning board only meets once a month, like ours does, but the timing of the submissions can delay our projects. So that's it for me.
Jerry.
No HPC's Thursday, I have nothing else, thank you.
Fran.
I already did
You already did all the stuff. Now we're down to me. I'm nothing. Survived a hurricane at the beach.
Yeah,
I gotta let that go.
Oh. He enjoyed it, got his hair all
Yeah,
going, you know.
crazy.
Still have to copy.
Public comment. What do we got?
Really, Joe? All you do is talk at the store.
I'm resting.
I didn't realize John was talking.
He's still one of the last survivors of the.
haven't heard an appropriate joke since he's been here.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
We're next time.
Excellent.